celebrate the wins of the lead measures.
Okay.
Celebrate the wins. You do need to celebrate lag measures, but the focus needs to be on lead measures. That's the 1% better every day formula.
I love it. And then even the easiest way, or correct me if I'm wrong, but the easiest way to do that is pulling up your CRM in your sales meetings and going through that weekly and who's the top 3 consistently and on the board too. You know, there's a way to see if people are just fudging the numbers and fudging the calls, because you can look at those conversions. So I think you and I have talked a lot about having a system for your sources before. So really maybe audit those, and when's the last time you looked at your financials, looked at your P&L, and how much do you need to cut back on anything? Now might be the time to do it. I know we're in spring, summer market when things start heating up in most areas, but do you necessarily need that $10,000 lead source? Or how are you auditing the database as well?
And I think that's really what it comes down to, and why structure is so important. You need a workflow, you need a rhythm in your CRM, but most importantly, someone needs to keep an eye on the numbers. You know, for team owners, when you're inspecting the database, you catch stuff like this faster than a year later, 6 months later, even a month later. Like 30 days could be the difference between somebody saying, I'm going to purchase a home, and I already purchased a home. And when you're not keeping an eye on the database, when you're not looking at how many attempts have been made on this lead, what is the conversation like? Like right now, I'm instructing my team owners, go find some pendings. They're sitting there. Go look inside of your CRM. Go look at what your agents are doing. Inspect the database. I guarantee you're sitting on pendings that just have not been followed up with yet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So market or no market, consistency is always going to win.
Lauren, what's one system a team should implement this week?
Okay. What I would say is we talk all the time about recruiting. Great. What's next? So the next layer of that is creating a real onboarding roadmap. I love putting together, for an admin specifically, if you're hiring a new team member or staff member, a 30, 60, 90-day training plan. So their first 30 days, what are the expectations? So you can also pull these from the job description of, okay, this is everything we need them to do. How do we teach them to do that? And you can chunk it down into the first 30 days. This is exactly what they should be nailing. So for an example, I'm going to start with an admin, then move into an agent. An admin, I just hired somebody in client success. I took their job description, the first 30 days, I needed her to learn from start to finish how to onboard a client. Mm-hmm. That's one thing. That's her 20%. Yeah. For an agent, Mia, you could probably say more than I can, but go ahead.
Yeah, well, I love what you said. And for me, I want some sort of daily checklist. I also call this like how to win the week. But, you know, it's getting your 2-minute conversations. It's being in the CRM, looking at your pipeline, doing a follow-up video. You know, just keep that checklist really simple.
A small but mighty tip, leaders, answer your phone. Get back to your team.
Seriously, that alone can set you apart. And remember that your brand is not just your logo. It's how you show up when no one's watching. Be the person who answers the freaking phone.
Yeah. And we're not saying, okay, they're calling you at 10 p.m. at night, you have to answer. But, you know,
heck no.
Brittany Pino, I think at one of the masterminds that we were at, her schedule is really dialed in. She has her gym schedule when she wakes up and then gets her kids off to school. And then she's not answering her phone until a very specific time in the morning. So maybe have a window of what that looks like for you and have boundaries and communicate that to your team.
So good. Pause right here. Let's change the closing up. Let's just make it an organic closing, because I don't want it to make it, we have a series that maybe it says like, we'll be back next week. So let's just do like a more organic closing.
Okay. All right. So that we wanted to keep it short and sweet today, just really bring the ins and outs of the real estate industry that many people aren't actually talking about, rather than your prescriptive tactical, this is how you lead gen, this is how you do XYZ. You know, it's really about the mindset and how you regulate emotions and how you're going to take care of yourself.